Hello everyone and welcome back to the Omnichannel podcast. Today I have a very special guest / expert session for you with the amazing Iasmina. Did I say your name right, by the way? You tell me.
That's perfect, Iasmina.
Iasmina, I'm so happy to have her. She is a marketing / business coach. Are you right? Like marketing and business. We're doing both, especially on the organic marketing side. And today we have a very super exciting discussion for you guys on how do I create content that is showing my essence? Okay, so it's all about content today. It's all about, how do we communicate in our messaging? And I'm very excited for you guys to hear this one. So Iasmina, can you tell me more about yourself a bit before we dive in? How long have you been in this online marketing industry?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me here. So I have been in the online marketing world for the past 8 years. And I started actually in Germany working in a startup, and I just loved it. I loved marketing so much, and I love this part of writing and also promoting your services. And then I started to work with 2 7-figure companies. I was focusing on every part of digital marketing, including paid ads, email marketing, CEO, and so on. And when I started my business, I started to focus only on the side of social media marketing and attracting paid clients by using social media. So I have been in the industry for a while. So I would say every trend and everything that happened in the last years, I can see that at the base, you still have the same principles. It doesn't matter how the market changes. You need to adapt your message based on the core principles. And I think that's going to be super useful because today we are going to touch on those.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So what do you think, in your opinion, what does content do for us?
So basically, content is like our business card in the online space. And it's the way you present yourself and your brand in a way that's going to attract clients. And it's going to connect you with your ideal target market, with your ideal clients. And basically, there is now this concept of content doesn't work. It works. Even if you don't have results, it works in a way or in another. So what you want to do is to make content work for you, not against you. This is why it's very important to actually do it in a way that's going to magnetize people, it's going to attract people into your world, and it's going to position your brand as an authority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so important and it's so true. Like you said that. On my end, I feel like, and this might sound like a bit of a disclaimer to everyone, but what I have found is your content is the platform in which you can show people what you're capable of, and obviously that being what you offer, what you do for them, and how your service can help them, but also like on your abilities to be delivering on that service. You can showcase your knowledge, your skill sets. You can showcase your clients' results. There are so many ways that you can use content for your business. But at the core, I think it's always if you go into a mindset of creating anything on how can I showcase that, this is my best work and how can I show that to people? I don't think you can ever go wrong. But of course, there are mistakes that a lot of people make in the content world. And we'll talk about that, of course, in the session.
Yeah. And that's so important because I believe that's the main struggle, basically to showcase who you are and how good you are through your content. So that's really good.
Exactly. And we had this conversation just the other day, and we were chatting on the Facebook DMs. And what we were talking about is like, how can I show people like certain qualities in me that I think that are unique? For example, I care. We had this like, how can I show people in my content that I care? And what would be your suggestion, Yasmina, on this, like certain qualities in us? How would that flow through our content?
So, for example, when you say I care about people, you need to define what does it mean to care about people, first of all, for you and for your clients as well. So, for example, when somebody says, I feel like you care about me and about my business and or about my life, let's work together. When that happens, you need to get to the core of what actually made this person say that I care about them. Was it the way I showed up on a call and I gave them extra support? Was the fact that we connected more over the chat and I share more value with that person? And for example, if for my clients means, hey, you help me so much with my content or social media presence in a way that I'm helping them refine their message. And after I refine their post, they say, Yasmina, I really feel like you are caring and you really care about the success of my business. Then I will go into my content and I will say, I really care about my clients and this is what I'm doing for them. And I go step by step how that looks when you are working with me. And everything that you have as a unique trait or unique value, for example, another thing that I have in my brand is giving massive value. And how do I showcase the fact that I give massive value and I'm not just saying, hey, I give you massive value, because everyone can say that, right? It's just basically talking about the things that nobody shares in the online space, giving those hidden strategies that are actually principles. And some people, they charge you a lot for those, and I give them for free because I really believe in the success of your business. And I really believe in the success of everyone actually on the internet. And it's not about keeping the value for myself or just for my clients, because what will make people work with me is the part where they get support. So I'm not just coming on the internet saying, hey, I give massive value. I actually give you the steps, the strategies, and everything. So the first step is actually showcase what's unique about you, your characteristics, your traits, and gives real examples of how that looks in the life, in your day by day life, or in your work with your clients. That's very important.
Yeah, I love that. And when you said, um, we can start from your qualities of what you're doing for people. And when you said, like, okay, so how does it show up in my work, everyday work? How can I show people that I'm caring, or that I'm over delivering or giving value? And I love when you said that, I'm just going to go over what I do for people and I'm going to talk about that, and let that speak for me, instead of, like you said, like, hey, I care so much, I go up above and beyond and people love me, and we had this conversation over chat, like that sounds so wrong, to be egotistical, almost like, hey guys, I care so much, pick me, you cannot say that. People will be turned off. So I love when you said that, like, okay, so let's analyze what we do when we work together and let's talk about those examples. And in your case, you said that you don't hold back information and you want people to succeed. So you're not hanging on to strategies that you only reveal in the paid session, but you give that out. So when you are giving out such valuable content, people are like, oh my God, like, she's really generous. Like, she's really not just here to make money off of us, but she's willing to give. So I love that you explained that kind of framework for us.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Where I want to go here is a little bit of like, how can I communicate my essence? And just going back to some examples of how can we achieve that, because a lot of the times we don't even know what makes us special. And we had this conversation. I'm just going to refer back to our DMs because, guys, we were like DMing back and forth, I think, the past week or so. So I'm like, we had this conversation on DMs, like, how can we grab the essence of a business that make them unique. And sometimes you cannot even define it for yourself. Sometimes you need someone who defines it for you, because we can't always reflect back on what makes us unique until we have someone who can tell us, and I'm sure you have done that for your clients, Yasmina, over the years you've been doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question and a good observation, because honestly, when I started my business, the first thing that I was really obsessed with, what makes me unique on the market, was my zone of genius. Even if I knew my zone of genius, and I was having, like, back then, 5 years of experience in marketing, it was very clear, like, you are on the marketing side, that's your zone of genius. But I was so obsessed with the idea of the fact that uniqueness is just one single thing that makes you unique, when in reality, that uniqueness is based on several elements. It's not just the fact that, okay, I'm good at content that makes me unique in the online space, or I'm good at teaching people about mindset or anything that we are doing, and that makes me unique. Now, actually, uniqueness in the online space is this quantum of more elements, and brings your personality, your work, your clients, and the way you show up, your stories that happens every single day, or the stories that made you make a change in your life and you started this business you are having right now, or the stories that are happening with your clients. So when you bring this uniqueness from all the sides, all these elements that define you and your life, that's going to look like you have one single thing that makes you unique. But in reality, is just like life. Think about every single person when you meet them in person. And they are basically, even if you are in a room with 50 people or 500 people, everyone is unique, because they speak in a way, they move in another way, they dress in a certain way, their hair, their voice, everything is somehow unique about them. And in the online space, it's just about bringing that on the internet, and bringing it in a way that is not going to look sassy, it's not going to look pushy, or I'm trying to be somebody who I am not.
Mm-hmm.
When we try to do those things, actually we blend in on the
Mm-hmm.
internet. So it's very important to start by defining who you are. That's the core of how uniqueness starts. Who you are as a person. Okay? And the second step is, who are your ideal clients? Who are your dream clients that are going to pay you? Because not everyone is going to resonate with you, which is normal. It's the same thing as it happens in life. And it's very normal to really get to the core of who are those people. And once you know who you are and who are those people, you create a blend of these characteristics that show up through your content. Because it's not enough just to be, as you said, everything is about me and me. No, that's not going
Mm-hmm.
to work if you don't redirect everything towards your ideal clients.
When you first said, it was a bit of a moment for you until you, almost like a freeze moment when you're like, I need to figure out what my uniqueness is, and then I can proceed, right? Then I can do something in the marketplace. How that was a process for you to figure out, and how you felt like that I have to somehow define this thing and I have to do it right now. And I love when you said that it took you a minute to do, and how you cannot just define someone by just one thing. It's not, because we have so many nuances and different stories and experiences. So it is true, there is nuance to everyone. And I like that when you said, okay, what we cannot neglect the type of people that we want to work with, right? We cannot just talk about us. It just cannot be just my story. Hey, so here is a story of me again, like, hello. But it has to tie into, like, okay, how does it apply to my clients and my experience and my work? So I love that framework that you just said. The only thing I wanted to add here is a bit of a disclaimer, because we talk about content and we talk about how to craft our messaging and how to do all of those things. And we will talk about mistakes after this one. But I think it's very important for everyone to understand is that I can have the shittiest messaging. I can just write, hey, I'm doing Facebook ads. Click. Do you want Facebook ads? I'm doing Facebook ads. If that's all I do every day. If I go out and message and create connections in DMs and all I say is like, I just do Facebook ads, I'm, whatever. So it doesn't always have to be perfect in your messaging when you are more proactive. So I just wanted to do like, if there's a need for the service that you provide or, coaching or consulting, first of all, there is a need. If there is no need, doesn't matter what your messaging is. If no one needs it, like you can be the most you and you can be the most like, whatever embodied person if there is no need for what you're selling. I think that's so important to establish. And you can be wobbly with your messaging if you're so proactive, if you're out there, if you're in the DMs, if you're connecting, if you're going live, if you are out there on the street, you're talking to people, you're going to networking events. You can have a shitty messaging and be the most beginner in just saying, hey, I do Facebook ads. But still you would land clients. So I want, especially if you're enthusiastic about what you're doing, right? If you're talking to people, it's all about you, you're so enthusiastic about what you do. And there is need for that. And there is that proactivity. I think you can compensate a lot on your messaging. But if you are the type of person that is not super proactive per se, you're more introverted, you are feeling like, I just draining to me to be talking to people all the time, or DMs are not my forte, right? Then how we, bridge the gap is definitely through a great messaging. So I just wanted to put that out there because I don't want people to think that unless it's perfect, it's not going to work in your business.
Yeah, that's great because actually I can tell you it's a lot about the belief you have rather than the strategy. Because when I started, even if I had all the years in digital marketing, I was a marketing manager and I worked with external agencies. We did TV campaigns and a lot of other stuff, not really organic marketing. And I felt like everything was new to me, but I had this conviction that I love to do this. This is going to work. And even if I look back at my old posts and we're not at the level I will consider someone converting, and they still got this essence basically of the message beyond the words that I had because I was not even speaking English back then. So you can imagine how my posts were because I was trying to work with somebody who was correcting my post at the same time. But it's
Oh,
very,
wow.
yeah, and it's very hard to put someone to see your vision on a market that they don't understand, on a business that doesn't make sense to them. Because sometimes everything what we do with entrepreneurship can sound very delusional to others, which is okay as far as you really believe in your vision. So somebody else who was not connected to my vision was going through my post and to make sure that are correct. Like we're very, very basic. And yet I was connecting with so many people. And the reason was because I really was good at communicating that emotion, the essence behind the words that you are using in your content. Also over DMs, as you said, I was connecting with somebody and I was so excited about the work I was doing that they could feel that. So it's not about one way to go only with your content or only with DMs, paid ads, or another thing. It's about going with what works for you. And that's
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah, I love that you shared that. I didn't know that you were starting out like not having someone correcting your post. It's so funny you said that. I have a friend who is like using, like ChatGPT or whatnot to correct their posts. So every time they post, they're like going through a filter because they're so afraid, like, oh my God, like if it's not perfect, like what people think of me.
Mhm.
And I love how you said you are like connecting in DMs because you literally were connecting with me on DMs too. And I was like blabbing all my business numbers. I'm like, oh, that's what I make. That's what I want to do. And they're like, hey, I don't even know this girl. Like, why am I like so open to her? And I think that's because you have such a good way of genuine, I didn't feel like you're gonna come to like tell me anything. I just like genuine help. You're showed up, you're like, hey, can I just tell you this? I have this experience and that's what happened to me. And I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then that didn't come from a place of like, hey, we're offering ABCD, you want to come to my group? It wasn't never that. I think, that's why I said like we can make up, like even if we're not perfect in our messaging at the beginning, right? It takes time to develop our essence or forte, like, but still, if you're enthusiastic, you can make up with, imperfect messaging. So I think that's very important for people to understand as well.
Yeah, and it's very important to focus because I made this switch for myself when I was thinking what's more important for my clients, actually to make their business work, to have a real and proven marketing strategy, or they care about the mistakes I make when I write I don't know what in my content. Because I know my ideal clients, they are not coming to me to learn English or to learn how to do everything else. They come in because I have this background in marketing and I can look at your business right now and I can see, okay, this is missing, this is missing. I see the gaps and I see the solution on the spot. So they are coming to me for that. And always ask yourself and flip the script. What am I helping my clients with? Is it becoming perfect at writing or having everything figured out? Or is it because I offer this specific transformation? So when
Yeah.
you do this switch, everything will become like into a relaxed mode when you focus on actually providing that value and not holding anything back.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was listening to someone say, like, how would I show up if my intention was not to sell anything? Like, how would I show up if my intention was to just not sell, but maybe serve, maybe create something that I think that will be useful to people? If my intention was not to just sell, 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 what kind of content would I be creating? Would I be saying the same thing? Like, would I be still, you know, or would I be saying something different completely and maybe not hold anything back because I didn't care if I sold or not, or
Mhm.
how many, how much strategy would I be sharing, or how honest and open would I be if I wasn't just going for a sale? I think that's a
Mhm.
good test as well.
Yeah, it's really good. And actually, I remember that an exercise that I'm making with my clients when they're writing content is actually to ask themselves if my ideal client was in front of me right now, if I would be to speak with them right now, would I speak in the same way, like buy this, come to my program, join my program? Or no, you wouldn't do that in real life. You will start a conversation, and basically that's how you start with your content as well. And you will not tell your ideal client, hey, you need to work on the top of the funnel in real life, because they are going to be, what does it mean, top of the funnel? What are you saying there, right? So you try to explain them, and in the same way, you should need to show up in your content. Plus, as you said before, it's very important to just give that value. Don't hold back because it's so important, especially with all the changes that are happening on the internet. People want to build connections more than ever. They crave connection and they crave real connections, not those type of salesy, hey, do something or I want something from you without giving you value first.
Yeah, of course. And not just deep connection that they crave, they also crave truth. So
Mhm.
maybe we can go into the mistakes parts, like what do we see in the messaging mistakes that most entrepreneurs make on Facebook, for example, or Instagram. But the truth is, I've just recently been seeing this, like the more people speak the truth about what it takes to run a business, what are the reality of the things.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of truth bombs I've been seeing lately. One of them was like, hey, it takes time to build a business. Of course, it's not going to happen next day. a lot of people are going into this and maybe buying a course, and I'm like, oh, next day I have clients and I have all the money and I'm making the 10K, 100K, whatever. So what it takes to build those businesses, it takes time. It takes time for people. Even if you have it dialed in, you have your messaging, you have everything, it will take some time for people to get into your world and get into buying from you. And that will not happen overnight. So I think those truths, like when people are speaking that, that is refreshing as well. And I think the marketplace is craving that so much lately.
Yeah, that's very important because without having this context, we are thinking that something is wrong with us.
Exactly.
We are doing something wrong, but that's not true. And it's just about the fact, for example, somebody can have zero experience, but if they have certain skills, if they are born with certain skills, that's the way they speak, for example, if they are really good at speaking, at connecting with others, those people who have that type of energy that you instantly connect with them. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody, a person like that comes and has all the strategy, they can have results in 1 week. But on the other side, for example, as I was in my case, I was not able to speak at all. You could give me all the strategy in the world. I was not able to show up in that way. So it's a lot about the skills you already have, your background, also the strategy that you have. Because on the other side, you might have some skills, but because you join a program that, I don't know, sells strategies that don't work anymore on the market, it's not going to work. And again, you are going to get into that trap of something is wrong with me, but everything is the way it needs to be. We just need to be patient and go through this journey. So I think it's really important that you highlighted this part.
Mm-hmm. And when we speak about, you mentioned that as well, in your response to me, you said like, hey, there are people who are amazing at speaking already and they're captivating and they go live and you're just, I can't stop listening. Who is this person? And and some people like you and I, where, we have to learn English. It's not our first language. And that for us, it took more time to build that up, right? Every skill is learnable. But I think the most important is that you go to someone who is not just going to give you a strategy, but it's going to give you a strategy that works with you.
Mm-hmm.
I had this conversation yesterday with one of my best friends. She's a web designer. And she said, like, I hate when people DM me. I hate it. I can't. And I don't respond. They're like, hey, you there? Hey, you there? And like messaging over and over and like, and she's like, I block them. I'm so pissed. And she said, I would never be DMing people because I hate when they DM me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are the type of person who already has a preference or something in the marketing space that you cannot stand for yourself, if the coach says, oh, well, you should really do some DMs, and like, oh, no, I really hate that. No, but DM money is in the DMs. You have to go do it. It won't work. It won't work for you because you already don't like the way people come to your DMs. So it's important for you to find what works for you and what you genuinely would like for people to come, how you would want them to come. Because the clients who want to work with you as well, they will come to you in that way, and you're going to reach out to people in that way, or you're going to write in that way. So I think just figuring out what type of content works for you, whether it's having your face on camera. If you don't want to be on camera, by all means, don't be on camera, because then if you think you need to force yourself to do something that doesn't feel good for you, you're not going to like it. So you shouldn't be doing something it doesn't feel good for you. And it doesn't matter, the strategy. So I think that's very important to be mindful of that. It's just not a cookie cutter one way thing that everyone should apply. And because that's worked for you, but it doesn't mean it will work for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's very important because I just remember I had a coach who told me to go live in many groups exactly when I started my business. And you can imagine that I was not able to speak at all. I was just trying to say something, but nothing was coming out. And it was an awful experience for me back then. But also, it's very important to keep in mind to have this balance between what feels good and what you need to stretch yourself a little bit more.
Exactly. I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where you need to be, for because for example, I think it depends the level of your of you in your business. Because if you just started, don't start with a strategy that works against you. For example, the live videos, they worked against me, but now when I'm to another level and I'm with my business is more mature, I think like, okay, it's now time to stretch myself a little bit, get out of my comfort zone. This is not going to feel good right now, but I know it's a necessary step in my business to go live and to speak and so on, which is great because it helps me grow. But as you said, if you are in the beginning and you try to do something that it's not working for you, it's better to focus on what really works. If it's content, if it's DMs, if it's Facebook groups, Instagram, whatever, do what works for you first and become really good at that. And then you get to the next step. Because
Exactly.
it's not going to work basically if you try to put everything in one place or one strategy fits all. I don't believe that in that. I have clients where, for example, somebody had 0 followers and they needed exposure. Somebody else had 20,000 followers and their videos were not getting to the right people. And she said, okay, something is happening here. But when we made some tweaks, everything changed. Everything just, it was a huge increase, growth in her views and everything, and people started to engage and so on. It was her content actually, but for the other person, it was their presence that they were not on social media at all. So it's very important, and I agree with you so much to work with somebody who actually is going to give you something, a strategy that is personalized to your personality and to your business as well.
Hmm. Exactly. And I think you have to make a difference. And you kind of almost went there, but didn't. But there has to be a difference between this is a no, that is a hell no for me, or this is like a I could do it, but I'm just like I'm scared. I'm not. I want to do it one day, but I'm just like I'm in the beginning phases to learn this. For me, the same was with the videos. Like I knew I loved like 10 years ago. Like I have. Oh my god! When I was growing up, I was filming myself already. Like I had like family videos. I was like a 9 or something. I was already like blah 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 blah, right?
Mhm.
And when it came to like creating videos for my business and for myself, I was like so horrible. Right? I was like, oh, what do I say? Like where do I look? Like, do I look here or there? Like, so for me, even I knew I wanted it and I loved it, but it was just a process of learning. And then from
Mhm.
then on, like, okay, here's the video world. Like, there you go. So that had to also be like, okay, this is scary. This is stretching me. I'll have to put something. I'm gonna be blobbing. Maybe it doesn't make any sense. But I believe the more I do it, the better I get. So if we can make like the difference between this is a hell no for me, like there's no way I can even force myself to go there because this is just not, it's just so not me, versus oh, I think I could see myself doing this, it's just that I don't have the experience. And then in case, can I build up the courage, can I build up the skill set, can I be forgiving in the beginning stages of me trying to make this work. And with time, of course, it will get easier and better. So I think whatever strategy that you're looking for in your content or in how you show up, ask yourself that same question. Is it a hell no? Is it a I'm just scared because I need to get better at this,
Mhm.
type of thing?
Yeah, and here I think it's very important to have the right support, because by default, when we are doing something new, our brain is going to say, no, you stay in your comfort zone. You need to be safe. Don't do that because that and that will going to happen and the world is going to crash around you. But when you have the right type of support, somebody can tell you, hey, it's normal, and help you get to this level of consciousness, actually, to this level of acknowledging what is happening and to get where you just said, because I feel like you need to have this awareness to a higher level in order to realize, okay, is this just a totally no, or is just a step that is going to help me grow and become the person I really want to become and have the life or the business I want to have.